So good morning. So I'm Christian Jaakkola. I'm from Spatineo. I'm the founder and CEO. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is the title is State of Play, Real-Time Monitoring of the Global Spatial Web Services. What you're actually going to hear about is how to find open geodata. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of services, a lot of data, but it's hard to get it visible, to see what's out there and to evaluate what's good data, what's good services. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Some background. So Spatineo is a startup company. We started 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago. We have offices in Helsinki and in Berlin. And we are mainly or only focused on improving the quality of service for geospatial web services. So we are partnering with the users of geospatial data and especially the providers of geospatial web data. So what do we actually do and how we do it? We have servers in Ireland, and we are doing monitoring of the global spatial infrastructure all the time, in real time. So that means we are sending requests to each server in the world out there and checking if it's functioning, and also we are analyzing the responses that we are getting for possible errors and also analyzing the quality issues and so forth. So through this scanning of the global infrastructure, we get a lot of information about what's happening, what's out there, and this analysis then we can use for different kind of solutions that we are doing. So currently we have in our database some 13,000 geospatial web services, meaning some 250,000 data sets that are available in our database. And that means that we are sending some 4 million requests every day and analyzing those results and storing them in our database. So we have 4 solutions based on the monitoring data. The first one, which I'm going to talk about today, is Spatineo Directory. It's a search engine to find geospatial web services and especially to find geospatial data. So you are all familiar with Google search. So if you want to find the local cafe or the restaurant or whatever, you always go to the Google, and then you're going to find the website of the particular cafe or restaurant. But if you want to find, for instance, the data set of city of Essen, the geospatial web data, so where are you going to go? Because the Google search is not going to provide you with any good information, since they don't have any websites for the geospatial web services. So that's the issue that we are tackling. We're providing a search engine that has all the open web services in the world, and you can find them. This is all free of charge, so you can use it and take advantage of it. And since we are also evaluating them on a 5-minute interval, we can also provide you with some quality information, how well it's performing and functioning. So let's say you would be interested in building an application based on this data or these services. You want to evaluate if it's reliable enough for you to in real time, build your application or service on top of it. I'm going to show you an example in a few moments. The second one is Spatineo Ranking. So we have also created a ranking of all the services around the world. So it's mainly per country. So you can see and find which are the best services in your country, in your area, or whatever. And this also gives you a way to find interesting and relevant information about your own area. Again, free of charge and open to all. So I'm going to also show that to you in a few minutes. Third one, we of course have commercial services. So that's Spatineo Monitor. That's mainly for the service providers when they want to get deep down into the information of the services, how they are functioning. So this is a dashboard that will show exactly how the service is performing, where are the bottlenecks. Also, for some of the, or many of the service providers, Inspire legislation is a theme. So we are also providing Inspire validation, generating the Inspire annual reports automatically, and so forth. And of course, for instance, also alarms. So for the service provider, should the service be down, then Spatineo Monitor will send an SMS or email alerts about the situation. And why this is important for service providers, it's because if you are providing geospatial data and you set up a server, in many cases you just have a kind of a black box sitting in the corner. You don't have any idea if it's functioning or running, let alone who's using it or if anyone is using it at all. So this gives you the full visibility of what's happening in your geospatial web service. So I was using Google Search as an analog for our search engine. So here you could think of Google Analytics, which does analytics on websites. So it's a pretty similar, but it's focused on geospatial web services. The fourth one is Spatineo Performance. So this is about stress testing the services. So not just to look how they are performing in a normal day-to-day situation, but instead, for instance, doubling the usage that you have today and seeing how it's performing then. Or again, I mentioned Inspire. There are some Inspire regulations about the performance as well. You can also run Inspire tests. So you can see if you are meeting the Inspire performance criteria. One very interesting test is also a maximum test. So increasing the number of requests to the service until it freezes up or something peculiar happens. So you can find the kind of a breaking point for the service and thus adjust the settings so that it can't break at any point. So now I will attempt a live demo of Spatineo Directory and Spatineo Ranking. Let's see. So now we are at the Spatineo front page, www.spatineo.com. And here you can find both Spatineo Directory and Spatineo Ranking. So the directory is here, the search engine. Just okay. How does it? Yep. I'm trying to write London. For some reason, I have a blue box on my search box. I don't know why. Of course, there has to be some kind of demo effect. But here, where I'm searching for geospatial web data that has London in it, it's a keyword or it's in the London area or whatever. And we can see that we've found 101 datasets containing word London. Let's say I would be interested in building a weather application for the Greater London area. And I'll find, OK, here's a dataset, medium-level significant weather forecast. This could be of interest to me for building my application. Let's see what kind of service it is. Now, for each of the services and datasets, we have this kind of a directory page where you can see more information. Here we can see what kind of data you would visually get out of it. You can see the available layers. And most importantly, you can see the service health. So for instance, in this case, we can see it's down at this particular moment, so not particularly good. Actually, for the last 7 days, it's been all the time down, and also for this year, only 20% up. So probably not a good data set to build your own live application on top of it. So if you would want to use it, you would have to copy the data to your own database. If you want to contact the data provider and ask, hey, what's going on? It seems to be down all the time. Here you can find also the contact information. We have also a discussion board, so you can comment on the services, maybe leave some notes or wishes to the service provider here publicly. And also, you can subscribe to this particular service as a feed. That means, should the service provider provide some notifications or maintenance breaks, or there are any changes to this service, you would get notified. Okay, let's look at another example. We still have this London. For instance, this one. Now we can see, oh, sorry, I wanted to show you the next one. I think it was this one. Again, here you can see a lot of layers, 78, so a lot more data. Here you can even see the telephone number to this contact person and so forth. Now I'll move on to the Spatineo Ranking, because this is just using keywords, trying to narrow down the information you want. But if you're interested in a particular area, and especially high-quality services, then you probably want to use the Spatineo Ranking, which is below here. So the default is your current country, in this case Germany. And we can see the 3 top services here as a preview. But I'll take a look at the complete ranking. So here we can see from quality point of view, the best services in Germany. So in this case, our regards and thanks goes to Dresden, Niedersachsen, Sachsen-Anhalt, Sachsen, Brandenburg. Those are the top 5 best service providers. So if you take a look at, for instance, this Brandenburg, now we can see the service health is currently running in the last 7 days. Only almost no interruptions, and in the full 2013 year, only 5.5 hours of interruptions. That's very good. So it's very reliable and good service information here. What's also interesting to see, if we look at Germany, we can see that there's over 4,000 services and data sets in Germany available. That's quite a lot. Then we can also narrow down to Inspire services only, which is of course interesting. And then we can see that there's only 170 Inspire compliant services, so they are still in the building phase. And this is a tool to give you visibility about the state of the infrastructure in general in Europe or worldwide, how it's building up, and also how the Inspire services are coming up. There should be, actually by legislation, there should be Inspire services for almost all of the cities, all the states in Germany, and so forth. And also for each of the European Union countries, the situation is same. So let's compare that to a neighboring country, for instance, Belgium. And we can see 130 services, so not that many services in Belgium. But if we take a look at the number of Inspire services, oh, sorry, that was Inspire services 130. Number of all services 180. So here you can see that in Germany there's a lot of services, but very few Inspire services, whereas in Belgium there's not that many services in general, but most of them are Inspire compliant services. So it looks like there's been a different kind of approach in these 2 different countries, how they've been building the national geospatial infrastructure. And again, here you can scroll down and find down the interesting services. Of course, if you're interested in the bottom list, that's also possible. You just scroll down to the last ones and see who's not performing that well. But of course, we want to focus on the top services and keep things positive. So that's why we are providing of course the best services first. So I'll get back to the presentation. So that was Spatineo Directory and Ranking, giving you a short overview of it in live. And the address was www.spatineo.com. So if you want to use those, and again, I stress they are free of charge, so we won't be sending you any spam emails, or we won't be bothering you in any way. You just use it if you like it, and if you find it useful. Then I'll spend the last 5 to 10 minutes. I'll tell you about the Spatineo Monitor. It's a bit more complex product, so I won't attempt live demo. I'll show you some screenshots. So as I was telling you, this is now for the service providers to get more insight information on how the services are actually performing. And I'll zoom in. For instance, here's the monitoring data. here you can see the response time of this particular service, how it's been performing, mainly under 400 milliseconds, which is very good for service for the users and also for applications that are using. That's a very good time. We can also note that there has been some issue, so some interruption or downtime. So let's check more. Okay, it was on the 3rd of March at 10:30 in the evening. The service was down. We also sent an email and SMS to the service provider so that they can react. We can here see that Mark was on it, so he got the alert, and even though it was an evening, he knew that it's down and could fix it immediately. So he has restarted the server, so the acute problem is fixed, but he didn't have an idea why it crashed, so there's something that has to be done about it. So here you also, in the middle part, you can see a distribution of the requests that you've done, and you can also repeat any of the requests that we've done to the service anytime in the past. So this is a tool to find out and identify bottlenecks. Also, you can compare different kind of layers. For instance, you can run the same monitoring on different layers and see if there's a difference in the performance. You can run monitoring with different coordinate systems. So you can see what's the performance with the native coordinate system and what's the performance with the transformed coordinate system. We also provide usage analytics, so you can see who's been using the service day by day, hour by hour, how many requests per hour to the service, where the requests are coming from. You can see by country, you can see by organization who's using the service. You can even see from one particular organizations during particular week what layers and what areas of the map they have been requesting. So you can get very refined information and precise information on how people are using your services, who's using it, and if you're providing a commercial service and so you're sending invoices for the usage of the service, you can also see that very clearly, who's been using what, and base your invoicing on that. So here you can see example of a detail. So here are requests per hour on average. Here we can see for this example distribution by country and requested layers. Here we can see on a map where the users are coming from, and as I was telling you, it's easy to filter. For instance, if we would be interested in the users only from Germany, we can filter it down. So these are the German users, and sounds like looks like that most of the users are coming from the southern part of Germany in this case. I was also mentioning that you can also see the actual map areas that they've been requesting. This particular example is a dataset in Finland. So in this case, most of the users have been requesting data from the eastern part of Finland, so from the Finnish-Russian border, somebody's been interested, and also some interest on the northern part. And again, if you would want to refine the search and see exactly who has been the one requesting the northern part and who has been more interested in this area, you could all see that. I mentioned we also do validation, so you can do full validation on the services if they are performing as they should be, so OGC validation, but also Inspire validation. And especially for Inspire services, this is a big issue because the technical guidelines for Inspire services are not that clear, so what you should fulfill. And what our goal with this tool is that you don't have to understand the technical guidelines. You'll just use the validation tool. Here's an example. You run the validation. You've passed some tests. You have some warnings. And if you click on the warning, you can see which are the passed tests and which are the failed tests. So those are shown in your own capabilities document as errors. So I've seen several cases with where you've set up an Inspire compliant service by using Spatineo Monitor validation tools. You just take, for instance, a GeoServer out of the box, install it, run the validation, and you can see with our tool what are the bits that are missing. You'll just make the changes in hour or two, you have a fully Inspire compliant service without understanding or needing to know exactly what are the requirements and what does this 50-page technical guidance document say about building the services. So here are some customer references for Spatineo Monitor. As I was telling, the two other products are free of charge, so you don't need to sign up either, but these are for the Spatineo Monitor. So our development is in Finland, so we had the pilot customers in Finland, so most of the reference customers are there as well. But we are currently running trials in 8 countries in Europe, and it's expanding fast. So I think the newest addition is the Flemish Geographical Information Agency, which actually, I don't know if you noticed, but when we were looking at the Belgium services, their services are one of the top services. So actually, they seem to be doing something right there. So that's it, and we have a booth. It's in Hall 1, G1, number 14. And if you're interested for more information, just drop by and I can give you more information and give you a live demo. We also have a draw there, so we have a chance to win a Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 tablet. So if you want to win that, just fill in a form and you could be the lucky winner. We are giving that out on Thursday. So go check it out, and also if you're a service provider, it might be interesting to check out the live demo or take a trial, because the chances are we know a lot more about your service than you do at the moment.